because that is really one of the most powerful tools that I've used. It was, when we did the first six-figure launch, it was using that strategy. It's the thing that has opened a lot of doors for me of having opportunities, like, when we went out to Funnel Hacking Live last year, which is one of the biggest marketing conferences in the world for anybody who doesn't know. And I got a chance to speak, and what I was speaking about was literally teaching these exact strategies. All right, what's up? Welcome to the Midi Money Podcast. We have, returning for the third time, my friend, my business partner, the one and only Anno Domini. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Happy to be back once again.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, which is this whole concept of sort of using virality and contests and giveaways, and I'm just excited to geek out on it because I know a lot of producers are going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, no, it's a great topic. It's really fun. And best of all, it pretty much doesn't cost anything to get set up with. It's something that any producer can pretty much implement tomorrow. And those are my favorite kind of strategies.
Definitely, for sure. So yeah, I guess maybe I guess we should do introductions. I think most people know who you are, but Anno Domini, been selling beats online for, I don't know, decades. I was gonna say multiple seven figures. I don't know, definitely seven figures plus. Certainly doing stuff online. Definitely, seven figures for sure selling beats online. My biggest influence as far as teaching me about entrepreneurship and marketing as a producer. Um, what else? Some production credits. Been
That
doing
sounds
it.
pretty great to me.
All right. We did it. We did the intros.
I appreciate it.
Um, cool. All right, let's get into it. So, basically, we were kind of like trying to unpack this because we just did this Snoop contest, right? And did great, like amazing. We had, I think we had 63,000 people enter the contest, which is like hard to wrap
That's
my mind
absolutely
around.
nuts. Yeah, I can't believe that.
Yeah, yeah, like 63,000 is like, I'm trying to picture a venue. Like, is there a venue that holds 63,000 people?
Yeah, it would have to be like a football stadium, one of the bigger stadiums for sure. But that's impressive.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of rappers and singers. So that's awesome. It by itself, that contest, that viral giveaway generated, I think it was $116,000, and really was kind of it tied in with these other launches we did, which we had the Icons pack, which I know we first launched those 2 weeks. I think it was 170K, and then the relaunch about a month later, I think it was another 50K there. Then we were able to launch the Legion vs. Anno pack off the back of that. That was another 50. So I think altogether it's, I don't know, we might be approaching 500,000, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, getting there. I think we're at like 400 and something thousand right now, just off the back of this one contest. And the reason why these contests are so powerful is because so much attention, so much excitement is built into this contest period. You have so many eyeballs on you, so many people are opting in, joining your audience. And then when you pitch them on products throughout that entire process, they're much more attentive to it and much more, receptive of what you have to offer. So all in all, it's just a fantastic way to promote yourself, a fantastic way to market your beats, sell your beats, and yeah, let's teach them how it works.
Yeah, no, definitely. So there's kind of like all these different parts to it, right? And like the Snoop contest, we kind of layered a few different strategies on there. And really I think there's sort of like a couple different categories. There's this sort of viral giveaway launch strategy, which is something that I've been kind of doing for the past several years with Legion Beats. There's a song contest, which is something that you've been doing with Anno Domini for a while. And then and then even within there's different types of viral giveaways and contests and stuff. So I think the plan today is to really focus on that sort of viral giveaway into a launch specifically, because that is really one of the most powerful tools that I've used. It was, when we did the first six-figure launch, it was using that strategy. It's the thing that has opened a lot of doors for me of having opportunities, like, when we went out to Funnel Hacking Live last year, which is one of the biggest marketing conferences in the world for anybody who doesn't know. And I got a chance to speak, and what I was speaking about was literally teaching these exact strategies, this sort of viral giveaway, this that goes into a launch, this strategy. And that was like, sharing the stage with Russell Brunson and Frank Kern and Steve Larson and just some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, which was like really really cool and also really scary. But I got that opportunity because it was teaching these strategies, which not only not a lot of people are doing yet in our world, but actually even in just marketing and entrepreneurship in general, they're fairly fresh and new, and effective. So I'm excited to get into it and share it with the producer community in a way that we really haven't, other than in our private group of Midi Money and Producer Funnel Secrets.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this is that usually when Gabe and I teach some kind of beat selling strategy, we've seen that work in another industry, and we've just kind of adapted it, brought it over to beat selling industry, and translated it for artists and producers. But in this case, it's actually our industry innovating, and then other people seeing what we're doing and kind of following suit and mimicking us. So it's pretty fun to see Gabe up there in front of 5,000 entrepreneurs, and everyone's like fully attentive, like taking notes and stuff. In a room full of multimillionaires, and everyone's like super excited about this secret strategy. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
Nice, let's do it. That's funny. Actually, I hadn't really thought about that, but it's true. It's because now I'm seeing people taking this exact strategy and using it for launching podcasts, coaching programs. I had a dude who's like really big in the rodeo world. He's like a star. I don't even know what you call it. And he, used this strategy. I've got a guy who's like, does bikes, like bicycles. So yeah, it is fun to see where we've been borrowing from these other industries. Now they're actually borrowing from us. It's pretty cool. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's get into the gems. People are like, all right, that's great. How do I apply this? What is this thing? So basically, the whole idea of a viral giveaway is that you are incentivizing your leads, your potential customers, your audience to bring you more potential leads and customers and audience. So the simplest version of this is you have somebody enter your contest, right? And for us, the way they do that is they hit a little landing page, opt-in page. They put in their name and email, maybe their phone number. And then on the next page, it sort of explains to them how the contest works, which essentially they get their own unique link that they share for the contest. And when they share that link with their friends, their family, whoever, their audience, then it's going to send people to that same opt-in page. But it's got this little tracking software that will give them credit. And so everybody who enters the contest using that link counts as a point for them. And then they get prizes for points. And essentially, if they get the most points, they get the grand prize. Did I explain that in a way that made sense?
Yeah, I think so. Makes sense to me.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what's cool is you create this viral feedback loop, right? You tell one person, hey, we're doing this giveaway, this contest. Let's say it's free to enter, and we're giving away whatever it might be, 100 beats. I don't know, whatever it might be, right? And so somebody enters, and then when they enter, they get this link to share, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. If I share this link with my friends or other people I know or people on my list or following me on social media, then they're gonna enter. I'm gonna get points, and then for each one of those people who enters, hopefully they're sharing it, and that's kind of how it creates that virality, and it's super powerful. As you can tell, with we got 63,000 people to enter this last one, which is absolutely nuts. And we've done some big numbers previously. I think on the one before that we done like 40,000, which is not bad. And we've just done a lot, and it makes it a lot easier to get traffic. I mean, I have to say, where we're at now with having launched Midi Money like well over a year ago. I think we're going to come up on 2 years soon-ish. There's a lot to learn, of course, and but I think probably more often than not, the issue that I see is people are just not getting enough traffic. They're just not getting enough eyeballs to their funnel or to their beat store, whatever it is, right? And so anything that you can kind of boost that traffic with is super, super powerful. And especially, as much as I've been a fan of paid ads and Facebook ads, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship because, man, it's so volatile. It's up and down. It works, then it doesn't work. They change the rules. They change Apple changes, makes an update to iOS that makes the tracking worse, and then Facebook changes all this stuff. So we still use that stuff. It still can certainly be effective, but anything that you can do that diversifies that traffic, and especially that you don't have to pay anything extra for, is a big plus.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of passive work. Whenever you can get somebody else to do the work for you, that is always a nice situation to be in. And basically, what you're doing is you're recruiting a little army of affiliates, right? Who are just going out there and finding traffic for you because they're inviting all of their friends who are rappers, and those rappers are inviting other rappers. So it's this big snowball of more and more leads and more opt ins, and all of the work is getting done for you. You don't have to do anything. You just invite those initial few people who are already on your list to join the contest. And then from there on out, it just takes on a life of its own and it just kind of spirals. So I love that.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, it's awesome. And it really, it also builds goodwill with your audience, because it's like, hey, we're gonna give you all this stuff, right? Not only is everybody trying to maybe win the grand prize, but you're giving out prizes along the way. Maybe you're giving something free just to enter. Then you're giving them, if they get 3 points because they referred 3 friends, you give them a few free beats or whatever it is. If they get more points, maybe they get some more free beats plus something else. And so it builds a lot of goodwill and people are excited about it. And it also puts your audience into action. It puts them into motion, puts them in momentum. And when your audience is in momentum and action, they tend to stay in action, and eventually they're going to take more and more actions that you like them to take. For example, buying your beats, let's say, or your sound packs or your loops, or whatever that next step is. So that's another thing too, is it just gets all this excitement and momentum, which is always good in your business. Whenever you can create that, it's only going to lead to more and more good things.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly what you should take advantage of too. When they're in momentum, that's when you make your first offer, right? So as soon as they opt in to join the contest, then they get offered a package of beats or some other kind of a product on that next page, right? Alongside with the sort of list of points of things that they can unlock by sharing the contest. So you're pitching them on something right away because they're excited, they're in momentum, like Gabe said, they're already taking action, and they're likely to stay in momentum. So that's actually the perfect opportunity to start pitching them on that first upsell of some sort. Which, if you're giving away beats, for example, it obviously makes sense to a rapper, to an audience of rappers, to maybe pitch them on a package of beats that you've already pre-selected. And the best way to weave it all together for it to make sense as well is to theme that package around the contest. So say you're doing, for example, a Snoop contest like we did. It would make sense to pitch them on a package of Snoop themed beats, or something that we did. I think we called it the Trendsetter Collection, and we kind of said, well, Snoop has been innovating for decades in the music industry, setting trends. So we put together a timeless collection of trend-setting beats, and the narrative just kind of makes sense. And whoever is buying into that contest and is excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, man. Okay, a lot of gems in there. So for one thing, kind of like the structure, right? So first thing is they hit this opt-in page to enter, and on that opt-in page, you want to really get your audience excited about it, right? So assuming you're selling beats, rappers and singers, one thing that I like to do is just call them out and just be like, attention rappers and singers, or contest for rappers and singers, and that way they know they're in the right place. And then we let them know what the grand prize is. Like, hey, how would you like to win blank? Now, in this case, what we did was they were winning an exclusive Snoop verse. Now, that was not cheap. We did a deal with Snoop where we got that exclusive verse that he recorded for us. He posted it on his social media. There's a bunch of stuff involved, right? And so, for one thing, don't worry about that. Don't feel like, oh, I got to start with something super expensive. You don't have to do what we did the year before that. We called it the Studio Takeover contest, which is the grand prize winner. We flew, we're gonna fly him out to California to the studio to, put him up in a hotel, record, mix and master a single for him, shoot and edit a music video, come up with a promotion strategy for their single, like all this, all this stuff. Where at this point we've been doing this for years, so I know we're gonna make enough money from the contest that it's gonna more than pay for that. Not to mention that creates content, and that can have its own benefits. But you don't have to start there. The first year that we did this strategy, the grand prize was every beat we made that year, and not exclusive license to every beat we made that year, right? Which, to me at that time, it sounded pretty good, and to my audience, that sounded pretty good too, and it was enough to get this whole thing going. If you think about that, that cost me $0 to fulfill on. It's a non-exclusive license to a bunch of beats, and it has value to my audience. So don't feel like your grand prize to start has to be something super expensive.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that's super important as well is to make sure that your grand prize is something that is specific to your audiences and is only going to attract your audience. Because if you make it something super generic, for example, cash or an iPad or something like that, then who's going to be opting into that contest? Everybody, right? Whereas if it's something specific like a studio takeover or a package of beats, then who's going to be opting in? It's only rappers and singers. And that's the audience that you're trying to go after. Otherwise, you just get swamped with leads that are of no use to you because they're not necessarily interested in rapping and singing. So they're never actually going to buy anything off you as a producer. So when you're doing a contest, that's something you definitely want to make sure you bear in mind. Just make sure you niche down your grand prize and be very specific to your audience with it.
Yeah, super important. That is a mistake that I see people do with their contests where it's like you said, it's win cash or, win an iPad or something, and it's like you're just attracting a bunch of random people who aren't going to buy from you. So you definitely don't want to do that. So okay, so from the order here, we've got page one. We get them excited about here's the grand prize. And then we also like to do usually a lead magnet, which is here's something for free for entering. So for example, here's some free beats for entering. If your audience is producers, maybe it's here's some free sounds or some free loops or something for entering. And basically, to me, what that does is it gets more people to get to the next step, which is kind of how I like to think about my business, how I like to think about a funnel. Is just like, what's everything I can do to get them to the next step? And then once I get to the next step, how can I get them to the next step? And how can I make that experience as enjoyable as possible and ultimately give them the most value and have the most value come back? And so what might happen is somebody might hit that opt-in page and be like, you know what? I never win anything. Like, I don't even, I think I'm not going to enter after all. But if they say, hey, I get a few free beats or a few free loops or whatever that free thing is, now they're like, all right, well, whatever. I'll enter my name and email here. Cool. And now they go on to page two. And now your job is, okay, now how do I get them to the next step? How can I, like you were saying, how do we sell them that first paid offer? How do we get them to actually share their link? How do we introduce ourselves, show the value we have? And as long as you can keep pushing them through that process or funnel, as we call it, then that's kind of the whole idea. Is just keep them moving through it.
Yeah, for sure. I think so many producers just try to jump from A to Z. They're just like, okay, here's the customer, and this is the end result to buy something off me. But they neglect
Right.
all the steps in between that need to happen in order for you to build that relationship and that trust and really guide people through the process until they're comfortable and excited about making the purchase. And then once they make the purchase, the idea is for you to continue to nurture that relationship and build a long-term mutually beneficial relationship where they keep coming back to you and buying. But if you just try to
Right.
go from A to Z, it doesn't work well. And that's kind of like a microcosm of what funnels are in principle, right? Just like guiding people through that process, holding their hand, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly right. And kind of the opposite of that is the old, okay, let me put this beat up on YouTube and then here's a link to my beat store that says, essentially go buy here, right? And it's like that is basically trying to go from A to Z. It's like, well, let's make that experience a little bit more enjoyable. Let's entice a few more people. Let's be a little more creative. Let's actually have a conversation. All those things that we talk about that's part of that process are part of this contest. So they
Yeah.
we get them through. We get them through page one, get them to page two, and on there we've got a video, where we're explaining, hey, this. First of all, this is who we are. That's one thing. That's another thing that's really missing from the millions of producers that all are just selling their beats with the beat store is where is that introduction? Where are you telling your story? Where are you making that connection? So that's the first thing is hop on there, tell a quick version of your story. That's important. Make it quick. Sometimes we give this advice and people are telling a 5-10 minute life story and it's like that's you kind of miss the point. It's still the idea is to show the value you can give to your customer through your story, like, hey, here's all these things that I've learned and here's how I can help you, right?
That's another big mistake I see producers do often where, you tell them to tell their story and they think like, okay, so let me just list all of my credits and like show off essentially, which, there's something to be said for building authority, but it has to be like quick and concise. And then you move towards what value you're providing to your customer. Because if it's all just about you, then guess what? The customer isn't going to feel like this matters to them in any way or that you're interested in their well-being in any way. So quickly make that transition and start focusing on how you can provide value to them and help them.
Yeah, always having that perspective of, what's in it for them. Always thinking that way is going to be super important. And then also kind of the flip side too of like, I know some people might be listening or watching, be like, well, I don't have any credits, I don't have all this kind of stuff to talk about, and like that's fine. Just talk about what your strengths are. Maybe your strengths are, hey, I'm relatively new to this, but I'm actually going to, I promise it's going to be me personally answering every single email, and I'm going to give you the I really care about our working relationship, right? And maybe that differentiates you from Legion Beats, where it's like, well, we've got a bigger operation. It's not me personally answering the emails. So it's whatever your strengths are, and it doesn't, you don't have to have credits. It could be, hey, I've been studying music for years, I've been whatever, I've worked with this many artists, or don't feel like you need credits or any like specific accolades to show that value.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And sometimes, honestly, the things that you feel like are your weaknesses are what's going to be turned into the strengths in the eyes of your customers. Because I see so many producers, they tell me things like, I'm too shy to get in front of the camera, or I've never worked with a major artist. But you can actually weave that into your story and turn it into a strength by saying, relating to people on a personal level that makes sense to them. Guess what? Most people aren't comfortable in front of the camera. And guess what? Most people haven't worked with major artists. So to be on that level playing field with people and to be able to like see the world from their point of view is pretty powerful too. And that can actually be something that sets you apart from other producers and artists as well.
Definitely. Okay, so we've gotten them through there. We've gotten them to page 2. We got our video. We tell the value that we have to them. Then we kind of explain how the contest works. And that was what we were talking about earlier of, hey, check it out. If you look below here, you're going to have your own link that you can share. Go ahead and copy that link, and now you can, send that out. And everybody who enters the contest with that link is going to count as points for you. And if you get, a certain number of points, you're going to get some prizes. If you get more points, you're going to get more prizes. And if you get the most points, you're going to get the grand prize. And that's kind of the quick version of explaining how it works, because another thing too is you want to make sure that you're not confusing your audience, and it's something, the good and bad of this is not a lot of people have seen it yet, so it's exciting, but it could also be like, oh, I don't really understand what what those next steps are, so it's important to explain it in a way where they get it.
Yeah, no,
uh,
for sure.
and then from there, and by the way, the software that we're using for to keep track of that is called UpViral. And there's a bunch of different ones. You can Google contest software. There's a bunch of different ones, and some have different features and stuff like that. To me, I just really like UpViral. It has a lot of flexibility. It allows me to embed it on whatever page I'm using. So in this case, we were building it on ClickFunnels. Great, it embeds right in ClickFunnels. Whereas a lot of them, like, you can have some of these things where like it'll keep track of shares and stuff, but you have to build it on their platform, and then it's really limited. And a lot of times it will not give you the ability to immediately sell them on that next offer, which is sort of the third thing we're trying to do on that page right there is, introduce ourselves, explain how the contest works, and then kind of introduce that first offer.
Yeah, and what was the offer actually on your, when you did the studio takeover tour? What was that first offer that you were making?
So the way that so it was an upgrade. And so what we did is the lead magnet, the thing that we gave away for free when they entered the contest, was 10 free beats. And I wanted to do 10 because usually we do 5, and I wanted something to kind of just distinguish it, make it look special, make it exciting. Also, it's a limited time thing. This is what we'd put in sort of like the launch category, right? Actually, this is something we probably should have mentioned earlier, is as far as sort of the big picture of our businesses. We have, the first thing we have is like our core funnel, right? Which is, sometimes we'll call it like your front end evergreen funnel. And we say evergreen because it's always there. And that's the thing that's really bringing in those leads in the first place, and selling that first product. And that's kind of the thing that we're doing year round. And that's really the main thing that we teach in Producer Funnel Secrets. That's what we teach producers, in Midi Money. That's kind of the first thing to build. So that's kind of the first thing. And then from there, you start creating launches. And launches are a similar idea, and they could be structured very similarly as far as the pages and what you're selling and all that kind of stuff. But usually they're available for a limited time. And what that does is it creates some urgency and scarcity, creates some excitement, like, okay, I can only get this for the next, week or whatever. And so the advantage is people are excited and hopefully buy in that week a lot more than they would otherwise. But it's a higher level of difficulty because you don't have forever to keep tweaking it and testing it and changing it, which is an important process of that first funnel that you're going to build, is, to keep tweaking it and testing it and changing it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's really it's a good thing that you kind of like zoomed out a little bit and explained that for a second, because I think some producers, they hear us talking about funnels and they think, okay, so this evergreen funnel that we keep talking about, that's it, right? That's the entire business. But it's not really. The reason we teach that, first of all, is because that's going to build the backbone of your business. That's what starts attracting leads, where you start building that email list or that SMS list. And once you have a list of people and you started building that relationship, then you can transition to making these one-off launches where you're launching a new beat package or a new mixing package or a new album, whatever the case may be. But of course, just dropping a beat album on your audience before you've done any of that prior work of building that relationship doesn't work nearly as well. So that's why we kind of do it in sequence. And that first evergreen funnel is really the backbone of everything.
Yeah, for sure. So like usually what we'll do in that is, offer some free beats. And then the offer right after that is some combination of here's a true offer, right? And we talk about, how to do that in Producer Funnel Secrets. But the idea is, how can you bundle some products and services together in a way that's gonna give more value to your audience? And one of those things could be to upgrade those beats. Maybe they got the basic licenses for free, and part of what they get in that bundle, in that package, is let's say the unlimited licenses or the trackouts, or both, something like that. And so when we did the studio takeover contest, that's what we did: 10 free beats with basic licenses when you opt in. And then the first offer was upgrade those 10 basic licenses to unlimited licenses, and then also get a couple bonuses. We had a training from Rick Barker, who's Taylor Swift's old manager, and one from How to Rap Drew. And so basically it's giving them a bunch of value, teaching them about, I'm trying to remember actually what those products were about, but I think there was one about social media and promotion, just different things that are going to help artists, along with upgrading those beats. And the thing that's nice about making that first package tie into the lead magnet is it goes along with that theme that we're talking about of really making this process, this customer journey, make sense, and gently, pushing or pulling people through it, right? Where it's like, okay, cool, I got these free beats, and now I listen to them like, damn, okay, I actually really like these beats, cool. So then now it's a natural progression of, oh yeah, I would like the unlimited licenses or the trackouts or whatever. And oh, cool, there's this whole offer around it. Great, let me, now I definitely want to get that. So when you can create that momentum and create that logical progression, it's just going to get more and more people to go through that, actually go through that process.
Yeah, I'm curious, what do you think about this as well? So some people might be watching and saying like, okay, so I already have somebody on my email list. When I start promoting this contest, do I just send them straight to like the contest page, or do I have them opt in again? And to me personally, I feel like it's always advantageous to have people opt in again, because it kind of puts them back into that state of momentum. Like, here's, something's happening. They're kind of reaffirming that they're interested in what you have to offer. Plus, you're building that goodwill by giving them the free beats up front, which psychologically puts them into a frame of mind of like, I received something, maybe I'm more willing to give something back, and then maybe make that purchase on the second page. So, just because somebody's already opted into your list doesn't mean you can't have them opt into whatever it is you're selling to launch again.
Definitely. Yeah, that is something that people are afraid of, or they feel weird about, but it's the opposite. Like it helps. It's just like you will talk about some of these launches, I guess, in a second, but during this contest, because we're getting all these people to come in, we launched, a couple other beat packs at the same time, right? We did one called the Icons pack. And so what we did is we did an early access list for that. And we really only told our current list about it. I don't think we did any paid ads to that early access opt-in. So literally everybody who we told about this, we said, hey, go enter your name, email, and phone number. All of them were already on our list, but it gives that advantage. Like you said, it gets people like re-excited, recommitted. It puts them in momentum. So yeah, don't be afraid to have people, re-opt in, so to speak, or opt into that next thing just because they're already on your list. Like there's something magic about having them, go through it again, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so where are we at? So we've walked through stage one of the contest, which is the opt-in page. Stage two, where you're basically telling your story, um, talking about the contest, how it works, and then making the first paid offer, right?
Yep.
And then what happens after that?
So then from there, now the way we had it set up is on that second page, they click a button that goes to the sales page for that first offer. Then from there, this is where we start getting into the order form bumps and upsells or OTOs. And this is something that is so important. I think a lot of times, again, people kind of miss the big picture. And so they might see, for example, oh, you're selling this beat pack for $17 or, $29 or whatever it is. And it's like, man, how are you ever going to make any money, $17 at a time, right? And the thing that is really important to understand is this concept of average cart value, which means on average, every time somebody makes a purchase, how much money are they spending, right? And so for the Snoop contest, the pack actually at first, when we first launched it for the first, I think, month or so, it was $7 for that first beat pack, which I think was like 15 beats, 10 or 15 beats, I can't remember. So super cheap, right? Like whatever, basically, less than $1 a beat, like crazy cheap. And then from there we ended up increasing it to 17, which was our plan, and we just wanted to create a little bit of urgency in the middle of that launch, which is something that you can do. One of the best ways to create some real urgency is, hey, this is the last day to get something. But also another little trick is, hey, we're going to be increasing the price after this day. So we did that. And so I say all that to say we had this front end product that was half the time was about $7, then it was $17. Our average cart value was, I believe, $45. And so what that shows you is that, yes, there's a lot of people who just paid $7 or just paid 17, but there were so many more people who ended up paying $100, $200, $300 because they took us up on all the additional offers. And so that's where these other things come in, like the order form bump. And so the order form bump is just, you can kind of think about it like when you're at the grocery store, right? And you already got everything in your cart, you know what you're about to buy. But then you're waiting in line there, and they've got, the candies, maybe some, I don't know, some toys, some magazines, whatever, like all the stuff that they think might tempt you to be like, oh, you know what, while I'm here, I do actually want, let me throw that in the bag. Let me grab that too, right? And
Always gets me.
yeah, right. It's a smart move. And so it's the same concept, which is essentially like literally right on the order form, you've got the product, right? Here's the thing that you're buying. It's, let's say, $17 or $29, whatever it was. And then they enter their credit card info, or or PayPal or whatever. And then right, but then like the next thing normally would be the button that says enter. But right above the button, you have a little checkbox that says, hey, how would you like to upgrade and also get the track outs, the tracked out waves to these beats as well? Normally we sell tracked out waves for blah, blah, blah. So for 15 beats, this would normally cost, whatever, a couple $1,000 if you paid for them all individually. Upgrade right now for just an additional $57. Go ahead and check that box. And so again, it's sort of that psychology of like, oh yeah, like I do want the track outs, and I'm already in motion. I'm already buying. In this case, I've typed in my credit card. Technically, I haven't, hit submit yet, but it's like, I'm just about to. Bam, they go ahead and check that box. Now all of a sudden, instead of $7, you add another 57, and you're at, whatever, the $64, right? Just off that one thing. And then from there we have some OTOs and some upsells, right?
Yeah, and what an OTO is, it stands for one-time offer. It's basically a new sales page that gets shown to the customer right after checking out on the previous page. So say they've entered their card number, they've checked the little box for the order bump, and then they hit that submit button. Then they're going to be forwarded to another sales page that basically says like, hey, how would you also like to get this one-time special offer before we send you over to the download page? And again, it's that principle of like being in motion. You've already got your credit card out. You're much more likely to carry on purchasing something, especially something that seems really attractive. Now, in this case, I've already bought some beats. What am I probably going to want? Maybe more beats, right? So you make your customer an offer of an additional beat package. And ideally, it's something that's a complete no-brainer. That seems, like something that nobody would want to pass up. So usually that would be another big package of beats at a big discount. And even on the without getting like super granular with this stuff, but even on the one-time offer page, you could also give them separate options and bumps as well for track outs, for an additional sync license, for more units, whatever the case may be. And you don't want to obviously overdo it too much, but you can do like one, two, or possibly even three of these additional one-time offers over the course of this like one transaction that the customer's going through before they start to probably get a little bit annoyed or saturated because they have more than enough pizza at that point. So I definitely wouldn't do more than 3 OTOs. That's kind of the limit, I would say. But just by adding these little things in, you're taking a $7 customer to potentially being like a $300 customer. And you're actually giving them incredible value for their money. So you don't have to feel like you're trying to trick them into spending more money. At the end of the day, you're providing incredible value, and that should leave your customer just as happy as it makes you happy. And that's really the situation you want to be in, where it's a win-win for everyone.
Yep, exactly right, exactly right. And that's pretty much that funnel, the sort of contest funnel itself. From there, or the viral giveaway. From there, then it's running it, it's getting traffic to it. Which for us, it's like at first, we just told our own audience about it. That's it. We've been accumulating these emails and phone numbers for years, right? Using our core funnel, our front end evergreen funnel from just being around for a long time and knowing the importance of building that list. So when we launched this, we just sent it out to our list, and it did really, really well instantly without us paying at first, anything for any paid traffic. We were already getting a ton of opt-ins and sales. And then all those people who entered, even though they were already on our list, were now sharing that with other people and bringing us even more people for free. And it creates this snowball effect. That's kind of the magic of the virality.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you have a business, right? You don't just have a funnel, because you're working on like all these different events throughout the year, throughout your promotional calendar, where maybe twice a year or something you're doing some kind of a launch. Maybe one of those launches is a contest-based launch, right? And now all of a sudden you're weaving all these different elements together, and you have a bona fide business, right? All these moving parts. You got your front end offer or your front end evergreen funnel that's bringing in traffic, and then as your list grows, you start making them very punctuated special offers throughout the year with a big launch. And launches to me are probably the most fun part of this entire business, to be honest. The evergreen funnel, like building that, it can be a bit of a slog, especially getting to the point where it's breaking even. And by the way, if you have a front end offer, if you have an evergreen funnel that breaks even, that's a fantastic place to be, because that basically means you're getting new customers for free, right? Yeah. And as long as you can break even on the front end, or even lose a little bit of money, and you then making these special offers, these launches throughout the year, that's where the real money gets made. It's not on that evergreen funnel necessarily initially. So if you're breaking even, you're doing fantastically well.
That's huge. I mean, that's kind of like a concept that sometimes can be hard to understand at first, where if you might be a producer, you're first starting out, you got this first funnel going, maybe you're spending some money on traffic, you're like, man, where's my $1 million, where's it at, like, damn, like, but that's the first step, and it's a necessary step, and it's super important. But if you think about most businesses, their cost to acquire a customer, meaning how much money they spend before somebody buys something, is a lot of money, right? And then from there, now they know, okay, now once somebody's become a customer, once somebody's pulled out their credit card, enter their PayPal information, now they're so much more likely to buy again. And that next offer, whether if it's your next offer, or maybe you're being an affiliate and you're sending them to Amazon to buy something, or you're an affiliate and you're sending them to our funnel to buy something, or whatever it might be, that's where a lot of that profit starts to come in. So when you start to shift to that perspective, then you look at like, okay, I've got this first core funnel, man, even if I'm, let's say on average, it costs me, $3 to get somebody to opt in, right? If ultimately, that brings me on average $3 back, that's amazing. Because even though I've made $0, I've now grown my list of not only people who have raised their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested in what you have, I'm on your email list, I'm on your text message list, but also that have pulled out their credit card, which means they're going to be buying from you in the future. So that is like don't be frustrated if you're breaking even at first. Like, that's amazing if you are growing that list and growing your list of customers. That's the important part. If you're, like breaking even on the way that most producers do it, it just means you're not doing anything because you're just posting up beats on YouTube or whatever and nobody's buying from your store. Like, that type of breaking even, that's not a business because you're not growing your list, you're not growing your customer base. That's just not doing anything. That's having, no momentum.
For sure. Yeah, having said that though, it's pretty amazing to see that some of the Midi Money members, even with their evergreen funnel, are making like 4 or 5 figures. So if you're in that position, and that's the car you're driving over the finish line, then wow, the sky's the limit at that point, because once you start trickling in those launch offers and funnels, then you're really going to be making the big bucks right there. And make no mistake, launches are a lot of work. They're really tiring and exhausting, and it's kind of like the evergreen funnel condensed into a short time period, right? It's like all the good things and all the bad things heightened about funnels. There's all the technical issues you have to work out. There's like all this frustrating stuff, all the funnel building, putting together all these moving pieces. But then once you actually launch, all of a sudden there's a rush of excitement, a whole ton of sales, and like over a 2-week period, you can be making what you usually would over the period of like a year, right? So it's kind of nuts, and to me it's like the most fun part about owning a business and running funnels.
It is fun. It is fun. And also kind of like the whole thing with, you've got that first funnel, maybe you're breaking even or whatever. One of my favorite things, I think, for both of us is being affiliates for other people's offers, which is like, okay, cool, we've got this beat pack or whatever, but now, Wishmaster is coming out with his new one, Temper Beats, Big Shot, Flip Tunes, all these other guys in our community are launching beat packs. And now all we have to do is just reach out to our list that we already have, just be like, hey, check it out, my buddy's got a beat pack, it's a great deal, you should go check it out. And bam, we can literally send out a couple emails and make a few $1,000. And so now we've got this cool little ecosystem where all of us are kind of launching at different times. We send each other's stuff. Our audience is happy because they're getting more, oh yeah, cool, they want these deals, they want these these opportunities. And we get free traffic from our affiliates who send people to us, vice versa. And so it's just a win-win-win. And what's dope about these contests too is like, it's easy. It's powerful enough to be like, hey, check it out, my buddy has this great deal, or check it out, my friend is giving away a couple free beats, and you'll check out his offer, right? But when you say like, hey, my friends, Legion and Anno Domini, they're giving away a Snoop feature, it's free to enter, do you want to go enter this contest? Then it's like a no-brainer. Then as an affiliate, like, your affiliates are excited to send that out because it's so much value, something exciting to their audience, that now they're gonna like be really happy to send people there, right? And then also they're going to make money for everybody. They get it, the customers get a great experience. It's a win-win-win. So this is like one of the most powerful ways to be able to leverage other sources of traffic, including affiliate traffic.
Yeah, man, I feel like you and I, we need to do an entire training just on affiliate and joint venture stuff, because that's definitely a whole topic in and of itself.
Yeah. You know what? We definitely should do that.
Cool, man.
It's like,
But listen, if you guys thought this was insightful and interesting and you want to try doing your own contest, I know, Gabe, you have like a little course that you put together. Maybe you want to share that with the audience.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, I've gotten the opportunity to teach this in a bunch of different places. Got a bunch of feedback of people who are really excited to learn this exact strategy. So I did actually put together an entire course, shows you, the step-by-step. Here's exactly how to do, all these pages that we're talking about. And actually, we actually have the templates for those pages. So they're just kind of pre-built, ready to go. Walking you through exactly how to build or set up the software. The emails that you are going to want to send out are, you just take mine and they're pre-written. And all of that is included in this course that I put together. And honestly, when I first made it, it was more for an audience or a broader audience of marketers and entrepreneurs, because like speaking at Funnel Hacking Live and being, a case study for some of these bigger softwares like ManyChat and UpViral and ClickFunnels and all that kind of stuff. The people that I was hearing from that were interested in it were these, these entrepreneurs and stuff. So, but then I realized, like, wait a second, this is this is perfect for producers. Like it's literally, that is where it came from. So if you go to midimoney.com/contest secrets, we have first off a free training that you and I did, right? Where it's showing some of the same stuff that we talked about here, but you can actually see it. We show you the screenshots, we show you kind of the step by step. And then as part of that, you'll see the opportunity if you did want to go ahead and get, all the templates and the swipe emails and basically all the tools where you're like, you know what, I could try to figure this out for over the course of 5 years, like I did, and hopefully maybe get to it, or just like skip all of that and just have it pre-made and ready to go. Check it out, midimoney.com/contest secrets.
Yeah, I vote for the shortcut.
Yes, go with the easy way. Always go with the easy way. And it's free, just to watch that first training anyways, whether if you end up deciding you want to actually buy that course. And I think what we're going to do too, which I'm excited about, is this whole viral concept and contest. There's so many different angles on it that we're going to have some more podcasts. We're going to have some different workshops and different things on, for example, like song contests specifically, because that's like its whole own thing that I know you've been doing for years. So definitely look out for a podcast coming soon on that one.
Sounds good.
Cool, man. Well, I think that's probably it on here. Anything else before we wrap this one up?
I think that's everything covered. Yeah, you did a great job.
Bam, we did it. All right, midimoney.com/contest secrets. Go, if nothing else, just go check out the free training, see if you're into it. And then if you want, launch it, hit me up. Let me know how it goes for you. You can find me on Instagram, Legion Gabe. What's the IG where they can find you?
Anno Domini Beats on pretty much every social platform. So hit me up if you have any questions. Always happy to answer.
Cool. All right. Appreciate it, man.